Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Saturdays with Tara Hangout on Air. I'm Mary Beth at the Law of Attraction Club, and we're on the web at theloaclub.com. On these Hangouts, we collaborate with our friends Tara. This Hangout is the summary of our theme for the week and continues on our member conference line with live Q&A. Our topic today is a continuation of Chapter 9, Questions and Answers. Are some things meant to be? Was I born to be or do something? You can get invites to our open calls, which we offer periodically, and our powerful free letting go process by going to theloaclub.com. So now we're going to turn the call over to Robin and Tara.
From Seth through Jane Roberts. For at no time are any events predestined. There should be no such word in your vocabulary. For with every moment you change, and every heartbeat is an action, and every action changes every other action. We have answered questions before about the true purpose of your life, and whether you should seek the guidance of those who can help you discover what that purpose is. Today we are going to move beyond those previous discussions by answering these questions. Are some things meant to be? Does everything happen for some reason or other in a grand ordained plan? And here's why these questions are important. If there is some grand plan for your life, somebody or something decided what that plan is. And if that somebody or something is not you, what does that tell us about the law of attraction and your ability in the here and now to choose whatever you want? This week, this one came across two very different sets of belief choices. The first came from an article discussing a paper that famous physicist Stephen Hawking published just before he transitioned. There's a widely held theory about the Big Bang that depicts the cosmos as having an infinite number of universes. Hawking and Thomas Hertog, a professor at the University of Leuven in Belgium, were disputing this idea and proposed a more limited number of parallel universes. Another theoretical physicist, Sabine Hossenfelder, judged the paper as unremarkable and in the same class as all the other purely speculative papers that have no reasonable evidence to support them. So here we see the scientific community wrestling with cosmic questions about the true nature of reality. The holy grail that they are seeking is one theory of everything. The discussions are endless and complex. Each question answered spawns 100 more questions. They began with Newtonian physics and observations of what is in a physical world. They have progressed to attempt to include the phenomena explained by quantum physics, which has challenged the idea that anything physical actually exists. But the common belief is that there must be an evidence-based explanation of it all, and that is what they pursue. Somewhat in contrast to that, the second set of belief choices he came across was in a book about human design, which describes a synthesis of 4 ancient wisdom traditions: astrology, the Kabbalah, the chakras, and I Ching. and two modern-day sciences, neutrinos and human genetic coding. This information was received by Ra Uru Hu, a Canadian man in 1987, over 8 arduous days and nights in a download from what he called the Voice, which he felt as an intelligence far beyond anything he had imagined to be possible. Human design proposes a direct link between the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching and the 64 human genetic codons. And if you are able to comprehend what the hexagrams represent and how to describe them, you can determine your individual psychological genetic makeup and access the keys to your life. This book contains a matrix of 64 lines, each having 6 attributes in a matrix of upper and lower lines, and gives the reader a method of finding what applies to them. This method involves in part the tossing of 3 coins. It is an oracle designed to stimulate your unconscious, subconscious, and superconscious mind to bring a broader perspective to your life. These 2 sets of belief choices represent 2 very different ways of perceiving who you are and the nature of your existence. As with any philosophy that starts from a physical world that's real, the theology is complex, and many questions remain unanswered. You, of course, are free to choose to believe whatever feels right to you, and there is nothing intrinsically right or wrong with any choice you make. If you're intersecting with us and those in this community, then clearly you've chosen to believe you're a human engaged in this game of life on Earth. And there are many other aspects of your belief choices that you will have in common with all the other humans you attract into your world. If you're looking for a more complete answer to life's basic questions, and as you decide what new things to believe and not to believe, what's important is to first understand the fundamentals you cannot change, and therefore the range of choices available to you. And from that, you begin to understand the ultimate freedom you have, beyond those fundamentals, to choose anything at all. Anything. The absolute unchangeable truth about you is that you are a timeless, always connected extension of the collective consciousness of Source. You are a pure, positive thought form. You are an awareness that has carved yourself out from the collective by a desire to experience a sense of individuality and to dance and interact with other conscious entities in an infinite array of different contexts. You cannot change this fact. It's the essence of who you are. But everything else is yours to choose. And some of those choices have brought you into this particular version of you in this particular context with space and time. This is the simple divine truth about everything that exists. It matters not at all that you may not remember all those choices. It matters not that you might consider some of them to have been made before you were born. And ultimately, it matters not whether you choose to think of them as having been made by your superconscious mind or by some other description of some other part of the collective consciousness of all that is, because those are really the same thing. What matters is that any new choice you make and line up with in your here and now moment changes the very nature of the you think you are. and by law of attraction, changes the matching context that wraps itself around you. Again from Seth through Jane Roberts. You form the reality that you know, not esoterically, not symbolically, not philosophically. Some great oversoul does not form it for you. You cannot put the burden there either. You form your reality. And until you understand this completely, you cannot change it, nor can you use your freedoms. You form your virtual reality from the belief choices you make. You are the creator of everything you experience. So if you search scientifically within that reality for the theory of everything, you will not find your answers. You must step back and away from the details of your created game to get to the simple truth about life. And if you seek to explain things that are timeless and non-physical, with elaborate stories about planetary motion and human genetic codes, then we suggest you will not find absolute truth. You will create your truth, and your world will conform to that truth. But you cannot change the essence of who you are, and you will not live life as the joyful creator you came here to be. From Abraham through Esther Hicks. The thought that you think, which attracts to it. So you think it some more, which attracts to it. So you think it some more. In other words, when you have an expectation, you've got a dominant thought going on. And law of attraction is going to deliver that to you again and again and again. And you say, the reason I believe this is because it is true. And we say the reason that you believe it is because you practice the thought. All that a belief is a thought that you keep practicing. Can you see, therefore, the degree to which those belief choices of yours are self-reinforcing? Because once made, by law of attraction, the new context that appears must conform to that belief. Belief choices are habit-forming. Belief choices are addictive. But belief choices can be changed. Our intent here is to have you understand the ultimate freedom you have to choose anything and everything, that no one choice is either somehow intrinsically better than another or is incapable of being overridden by a new desire and a new choice. So-called reality is nothing more and nothing less than a well-practiced thought habit. Once again from Seth through Jane Roberts. To understand yourself and what you are, you must learn to experience yourself directly apart from your beliefs about yourself. In other words, you must learn to see yourself from the stands and not always be mesmerized by the game going on the field. And once you see the view from there, know yourself for who you are. Once you gain that perspective, practice it. Start to see it more and more often. And then it becomes a part of you. And you will no longer get so carried away with what is. You can indulge yourself and live as if that world out there is something you just have to deal with. Or you can choose to be the creator of the life you want. You can't do both. What you choose to believe becomes the reality you experience. You can hope for luck or miracles, or that somebody or something out there is looking out for you. You can choose to find comfort in the thought that there's something about your life you were destined to fulfill. And if you can just find what that destiny is and align yourself with it now, then your life will be transformed. Or you can truly know that you're the miracle worker. You can break the reality habit and make new choices, and new choices, and new choices. And that is truly what you intended to do. There is no experience that comes close to the joy of discovering that you have your hands in the clay of all that is, and you are sculpting life itself.
This Hangout on Air was a summary of our theme for the week. We do 3 live calls a week with Q&A for our members on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You can become a member by going to the loaclub.com/join. So now our longer discussion continues with Q&A on our member conference line.